Jojo review time, man. It's time. So don't you love it when you ask a question one episode and then immediately have that question answered the next episode? I remember last episode I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, Chariot Requiem, if it's been defeated, then shouldn't everyone's souls go back to their original bodies? Chariot Requiem was never completely killed, so the ability was still going even if Chariot Requiem couldn't actually fight anyone or protect the arrow anymore. And of course, Diablo didn't kill Chariot Requiem on purpose because he didn't want to return back to his original body because that meant he would be too far away from the arrow. He wanted to immediately pick up the arrow, stab his stand with it, and then, go back to his original body. However, he was not protecting Chariot Requiem from being attacked. So Bruno comes up with the idea, hey, how about I just finish off Chariot Requiem? So, we start off the scene with King Crimson about to grab the arrow, but something goes wrong and he can't pierce himself with the arrow. He can't even touch himself with the arrow. And the reason why is because his soul is actually being detached from the body. And Trish's soul is being detached from the body. And everyone's souls are going back to their original body. Everyone except for good old Bruno, who unfortunately does not have a body to return to. So we have a pretty decent send-off for Bruno, One last, a golden wind sweeps him away into the heavens, and I'm sure that he's covered in hella angel pussy. And since Diablo goes back to his original body, he's not close to the arrow anymore. And Mista going back to his body has been injured, so now he receives all those injuries. Is that the thunder? Oh my god, that's so loud. And unfortunately, nobody knows yet that Bruno is gone for good. And, Mista kind of mentions it. He's like, oh, Bruno, his body's back at the Coliseum, so he'll probably take a while to catch up with us. And Giorno kind of keeps his mouth shut about the whole thing. I imagine that explaining what was happening with Bruno during that time would be a bit of a complicated thing. But Giorno does have to explain it to Mista, because if Mista goes back to the Coliseum, sees Bruno's dead body there with the bullet wounds that he inflicted, he's gonna think, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. I accidentally killed off Bruno's body. I'm sorry, Bruno, I tried not to hit any vital points. So yeah, Giorno, you're gonna have to explain that later on. And as soon as we see this big cloud of mist, and I see Giorno's silhouette just leaning over in that cloud of mist, I know it's going down. I've seen the opening theme. We actually have a pretty interesting scene. We have Diablo actually thinking, I've already lost. There's no way I can win now, I have to run. And Trish knows that he feels this way. So she calls out to Giorno and she's like, he's gonna run away. Make sure that he doesn't get away, Giorno, because he's gonna go into hiding again like a little baby. Diablo's turning over to her like, this bitch taunting me? I gotta teach this girl a lesson. But he actually looks into like a future vision to kind of see how Giorno stabbing his stand with the arrow is going to turn out. Now we all know those future visions, not always how you think they are. You can interpret them a certain way that isn't actually what's happening in the future. And Diablo kind of makes that mistake. He thinks, hey, I'm good to go, attacking Giorno, so he rushes forward towards him. Giorno stabs himself with the arrow, and it appears at first as though the arrow has rejected him. It appears like he just stabbed himself with a broken arrow. Diablo's going over this whole speech while he's beating up his stand, but as it turns out, he's only beating up the shell of his stand. His stand is beyond that shell, like a caterpillar just shedding off its new skin. It has evolved, and it looks spectacular. Another interesting thing that we see is like the arrow actually like goes up the stand's arm, which is very reminiscent of what happened to Kira when the arrow chose him. Not only did the arrow 100% choose Giorno, but it's sticking with him. So the only way you're getting the arrow to pierce your own stand is if you get through Giorno first. And oh boy, is Gold Experience Requiem powerful. Literally flicks a rock, goes right through his hand and explodes this random building behind Diablo. So we know right off the bat that Gold Experience Requiem is under Giorno's control. It's not berserk as Chariot Requiem was. Or at the very least, they're on the same side. So Diablo is doing his time skip thing, and he's looking into the future again. He's thinking, I'm gonna win, because he sees himself penetrating Giorno. But then all of a sudden, as soon as he's about to strike Giorno, everything starts reversing. And we get a little bit of a trippy moment where it's not Giorno speaking in this vacuum of time, but it's his stand. It's Gold Experience Requiem speaking to him. And it's quite terrifying. And he says something along the lines of, "You'll never reach the truth. Against me, no one can, no matter what their abilities are." And I'm not really quite sure what that means in the context of what is Gold Experience Requiem's next ability. So everything gets reversed, and Diablo has not moved from the spot he originally was. So whatever Gold Experience did, it just completely Command-Z'd whatever Diablo was doing. It's just complete undo of everything. And he gets muda 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 right in the face. But despite the many mudas that he now has engraved on his face, he still is looking into the future and seeing himself striking through Giorno and winning. And as I said, the futures can be deceiving because they're only just glimpses. It doesn't give you the full context behind it. You just interpret it as you can. However, they are always true. We have never seen a moment where the vision has never come true. So while he may be beaten senseless right now, eventually he's going to turn this around and get a strike off on Giorno. Now the question is, what is Giorno going to do when that time comes? When is that time going to come? What will be the outcome of this fight? I know that Giorno's going to win, but still! Man, this was a really exciting episode. The episodes have been so good lately. Maybe that's just because we're coming to the end now. I mean, we're going to end at episode 39, right? So we have 2 more episodes left. Oof. Part of me is still hoping that Diablo somehow gets penetrated by the arrow and we get to... Oh, wouldn't that be interesting? He got penetrated by the arrow and the arrow rejected him. Ooh, that would be just a twist to the heart. Another interesting thing that was at the beginning of this episode, when Bruno's explaining, oh yeah, all I have to do is finish off Requiem and we'll just go to our different bodies, Diablo's turning towards Bruno and he's like, please don't do that. It's like the closest we've ever seen Diablo to actually pleading to someone. And he's trying to explain to Bruno, don't do that. I'm the most worthy of this arrow. Don't you think so? Don't you think so, Bruno? I'm the most worthy. You don't understand. I have to have this arrow. It's a very good scene, honestly. And as far as being the very last thing Bruno does before he dies, it was pretty badass in the end. You know, you got Diablo pleading like, don't do that, and he's like, fuck you. he just does it. And then, of course, we have the Goldwind send-off. And yeah, this is pretty exciting. So, what do you guys think of last week's episode? Comment down below. I know that you guys are going to spoil things, so I'm going to try not to read those comments. It's difficult to not read comments or not glance over them, though, because YouTube just kind of... You go onto YouTube Studio and your comments are right there. Like, the newest comments are just right there, just showing you what it says. And I used to like that. Until people started spoiling anime. Then I didn't like it so much. Oh, I am feeling it for these last JoJo episodes. I'm so hyped. So, as usual, remember to like the video, subscribe if you'd like to see more of me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Program restart.